So I got addicted to Bluechew. In today's video, I'm gonna let you guys know the exact story of what led me to become so dependent on a substance like Bluechew and what you can do as a young man or a man in general watching this video so the same thing doesn't happen to you. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna break it down in full detail for you. Now, first things first, I didn't need to take Bluechew. I took it because I liked it. I took it because I enjoyed taking Bluechew. In a world where sex is placed on such a high pedestal and we're constantly being bombarded with it, with things like the porn industry, everything on social media on the feed now is just like girls freaking shaking their ass and things like that. It's like, as a man, a lot of our inherent self-worth, whether people want to admit it or not, is kind of based upon how well you can perform in the bedroom, with things like size queens being a thing now and women kind of being like, oh yeah, like he needs to be this big, whatever. By taking a substance that promised, hey, you're not gonna finish too quick, you're gonna last longer, you're actually gonna be bigger, and your refractory period is gonna go down, which is basically the amount of time between you can go for another round. As somebody where all these things affected me and I had low self-confidence in these areas, Bluechew seemed like a God-sent gift from heaven. Now, just real quickly, if you guys don't know what Bluechew is, it's literally just sildenafil, tadalafil, or vardenafil, which is basically ED pills. They're sexual enhancers that promise you to be bigger in the bedroom, to make it where you can last longer, and basically make it where you're gonna be your most fullest, hardest, erect self down there. So they look like these, they're really small, but you see it even has like the little BC, the Bluechew logo. But basically the story that led me to start taking Bluechew, back in 2021, I was living a very degenerate lifestyle. I was partying all the time, drinking a lot, doing drugs, just being like an overall terrible person. And a series of events happened where basically it led me to getting out of the scene here in LA. If you guys don't know, my name is Alton. I live in Los Angeles, California. Yeah, I was like a musician. I was doing like the whole music thing. So clubbing, big bodies, women, girls, money, that whole thing. But I had to get out of that lifestyle. So in 2021, I took a year off of doing everything. I took a year off from dating. I took a year off from having sex. I took a year off from really talking to any of my friends. I took a year off from partying, and I really got deeper back into like going to church and getting closer to God and things like that. Now, in 2022, I met my girlfriend at the time, but now my ex. I met her, and, you know, we started engaging in relations. One thing leads to another. And of course, you know, we do the D, we have sex. Now, during 2021, medically, I was taking a lot of things. First off, I was taking finasteride because my hairline started receding when I was 21 years old. Just like one of the worst things anybody can go through. So I was taking finasteride, and I was also taking Accutane because I had really bad acne again when I was 21. 2021, I was 21. The thing is, my doctor didn't tell me that by taking both finasteride and Accutane, both of these things actually affect your DHT production. DHT is what creates testosterone in a man's body. And finasteride, for one, if you take it for any amount of period, there's been people who have taken finasteride even one time, and they literally had problems for the rest of their life with ED. They weren't able to get it up in the bedroom again because it just affected their body in such a way where, yeah, downstairs just stopped working. And then Accutane, same thing. It like floods your body with vitamin A, and that also affects your downstairs production. So this whole year that I took off when I wasn't, you know, having sex, I wasn't talking to girls, I didn't realize these things. But when I started dating my ex in 2022, the first time that we engaged in relations in the bedroom, I had such a hard time getting it up. And I was like so flabbergasted because before, you know, I was a shoo-in, you know, I was a top contender. I was a top performer when it came to like things in the bedroom. So I started having like all these mental things being like, is it me? How come am I not able to get it up down there? Like, do I have ED? Do I have performance anxiety? I started looking up online, going into Reddit forums. I basically came to the point where I was able to self-diagnose myself, and I realized, dang, the finasteride and the Accutane, that was just a double dose whammy of basically making where my big boy just stopped working. So I didn't immediately take Bluechew, but I started doing all these holistic things. I started taking L-arginine and L-citrulline to help with blood flow in my body. I started taking things to increase my testosterone, which are also natural supplements like Tonka Ali, Tribulus terrestris, any natural remedy out there, watermelon juice, even on the further extent, not supernatural, but even like honey packs. I got into because I was having a hard time getting it up down there. Thankfully for me, unlike other people who had taken finasteride and Accutane, who basically never were able to get it up again down there. And again, guys, this is not medical advice, but this is something that doctors should tell us, you know, like, hey, quick disclaimer. Yes, the finasteride might help with your hair loss, but you might not ever be able to use your willy again. I'm like, dude, if you would have told me that, I would have said, freak my hairline. Like, I'm not gonna take that, you know? Like, I would rather still be able to engage in sexual relationships with women. But yeah, so with time, you know, I stopped taking the finasteride, stopped the Accutane, and things were going okay. I was able to kind of get it up, but then I had a problem, like, you know, keeping it up. I had a problem finishing sometimes, and these are all things that were like, I was facing alone, you know? I can't tell my homies about this. You know, I don't really want to talk to my doctor about it either. It's like, who do you go to talk about things like this? You talk to family? Even the fact that I'm telling you guys on YouTube is kind of wild right now. But again, I feel like these topics should be talked about because a lot of young men are going through similar things. So eventually one day I stumbled upon Bluechew, and I was like, okay, you know, what the heck? Like, it's working, but it's still not really working the best still, but all right, I'll just try it. And guys, like the first time I took Bluechew, it's like I fell in love. It made me feel like how I felt before 2021, where I had gone through these things to make basically my Johnson not working the same way anymore. Not only that though, I felt like a superhuman in the bedroom. Whereas before I would sometimes finish quick, you know, I wouldn't be able to last past 5 minutes sometimes. Again, being a young man, you guys are capping if you don't say that you go through the same thing sometimes. Being able to last longer was a great benefit. Another benefit was, dang, it literally looked like it was bigger down there. And not only that, my girlfriend at the time, my now ex, she would ask me like, babe, is it bigger? And that made me feel like a man, you know, it made me feel like, damn, I'm the man. And then just being able to go rounds upon rounds upon rounds, like last literally for hours. It's like, yo, like who wouldn't want that? But little did I know, each time that I would take Bluechew, I became more and more addicted to it and more dependent on it. Now, this wasn't a physical addiction. It wasn't like really anything in my body was happening where I had like, oh, I gotta take a Bluechew, that'd be crazy. It was more so of a mental thing. It's like in my mind, it was like, okay, every time that I'm about to have sex, I'm gonna take like a quarter of a Bluechew, I'm gonna take half a Bluechew, or I'm gonna take a whole Bluechew, because I felt like I wasn't gonna be able to perform my best or at my peak without Bluechew. Now let's break that down for a little bit. Without taking Bluechew, if I only was able to last for 5 minutes, or if maybe I wasn't like super the hardest or whatever, well, normally and naturally, that would just be how my body is supposed to work. By taking an actual medical sexual enhancement ED pill like Bluechew, in my head, I'm thinking like, oh, this is just like normal. This is how guys are supposed to be able to perform in the bedroom. But not necessarily. As a man, like in other different aspects of life, sometimes we're made to feel like we're supposed to be able to be so strong and perform better than anybody. And, you know, you got to be able to go crazier and harder and stronger and longer than anybody. But no, me just being natural, if I was to engage with my ex and only last for like 4 or 5 minutes, and that was my normal baseline, well, then that should be okay. And she should be able to accept me for being that person. Now, I'm not saying that she didn't or that anybody else put these expectations on me, but I'm saying me in my own head, in those times, I was like, no, I gotta have something to be normal. But the baseline of normal that I was trying to attain and strive towards was not actually normal. It was those things that you see like in those bad videos that we're not supposed to watch, seeing how they go for like seemingly hours and hours. And this was one of the consequences of a society that encourages placing sexuality above all else. Again, not putting the blame on anything and not trying to, you know, blame the porn industry or society, because at the end of the day, I'm my own man and you are your own person too, and you should be able to make your own choices. But in an exceedingly sexual world, it can be really easy just to get caught up and be like, okay, nah, I need to take this so I can be the best in this department. Now, the main thing that I'm trying to tell you guys, and really the main danger of Bluechew, is that although as young men, like I'm 25, I don't need to take it. At the beginning of the video, what did I say? I didn't need to take Bluechew, but I like taking Bluechew. Whoever you are watching this, you more than likely don't need something like Bluechew to be able to perform. But it can be very easy to blur that line of thinking, okay, well, I'm gonna use this sometimes. And sometimes using it occasionally might be cool. You know, if it's like Valentine's Day or you wanna show your lady a good time, or if it's like her birthday or whatever, I feel like there are certain scenarios that could call for, okay, maybe you do want an enhancement like Bluechew. But naturally, like for 90-95% of the time that you're engaging in the bedroom, you don't need to be taking an enhancer like Bluechew. And I had to find that out kind of the hard way. Again, guys, if you're with somebody who treats you like an object or who places unrealistic expectations above you, somebody that shames you for how you are in the bedroom naturally, then just don't be with that person. You deserve to be with somebody who cares for you and appreciates for you naturally where you are. It took some time for me to understand this. So comment down below, have you guys felt any of these things before? Sorry if today's video is a little bit TMI. I feel like I always show the good parts of Bluechew, but I wanted to let you guys know a little bit more of the hidden kind of dangers that you should know. I don't want to give you the good without giving you the bad as well. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and turn on post notifications because I do post videos like this every single day. And if this video resonated with you, check out this full review breakdown of Bluechew over here I have. I love you guys, and I'll speak with you very soon. I'll see you tomorrow.